noches. Buenas noches, Antonio. Gracias, gracias. I'm afraid that's going to be the extent of my Spanish this evening. As some of you who know me are aware, I have been studying hard this past year. I start my day every morning at 8 o'clock with a Spanish lesson, but I think that I'm going to speak long enough tonight without having to make you labor through my Spanish. So forgive me for not addressing you in the language of this wonderful country. I want to thank the Rafael del Pino Foundation for inviting me to speak to you this evening. I know some of the distinguished names who've participated in this Master Lectures program, including former President Bill Clinton, Bill Richardson, economist Joseph Stiglitz, to name just some of them. I am truly honored to occupy the same podium from which they have addressed you. I feel a little bit inadequate, frankly, not having a Nobel Prize yet, but I'll work harder on that. It's wonderful to look out at this audience and to see some of the good friends that Susan and I have made since we arrived in Madrid. It's especially a pleasure to greet Mrs. Ana del Pino. I've met several members of your family, and it's a real honor to have you here this evening. I want to thank Maria del Pino, who's the president of the foundation, and the director, Amadeo Petitbo, and the assistant director, Vicente Montes, for all the good work that you do, but especially for your contribution to strengthening the U.S.-Spain relationship. The grants that you make to Spanish students to study business in the United States surely pay dividends to Spain's economy and to the companies and organizations that employ these bright young men and women when they return. But they also enhance friendship and understanding between our people, and they help cement the commercial ties that bind our two nations. The United States is already the largest source of direct foreign investment in Spain, and Spanish investment in the United States has tripled in the last 3 years. Spain now ranks 10th among nations in the size of its investment in the United States. I understand that there are many alumni of the Del Pino Foundation's programs here, and I commend you for your contributions that you are making both to your country and for the role that you are playing in enhancing the friendship and cooperation between the United States and Spain. I'm delighted to be joined this evening by my wife, Susan, and also our embassy colleagues, Cultural Attaché Laura Gould, and from our Public Affairs Office, Jeff Galvin. As you may know, I am not a career diplomat. In fact, my resume describes me as a philanthropist, political activist, and an entrepreneur. Presumably, with a title like that, I know something about my topic, why entrepreneurship flourishes in the United States. I'll let you be the judge of that, but let me recount to you the first time I spoke to a foreign audience about entrepreneurship in the United States. In 1988, Susan and I were invited on a trip to China, sponsored by Brandeis University, so that I could join several other American businessmen to lecture Chinese managers on entrepreneurship in the United States. One member of our group had built a successful collection of car dealerships in his home state of Maine. Another was the founder of the Zale Jewelry Stores, a national retail chain of moderately priced jewelry stores. I was in the process of building a regional elder care company to take care of senior citizens in the Northeast United States. I began my story by explaining to this group of managers of state-run Chinese enterprises that as a leftist college student in the late 1960s, I learned about socialism by studying the Chinese Revolution. I had come to China, I told them, to return the favor by teaching them about American capitalism. That was only 22 years ago, but the world was a different place, and I was so much younger then. The most recent Chinese Revolution that has built the world's second largest economy had not really taken off. Spain had just entered the European Union 4 years earlier, and there was as yet no currency known as the euro. Some of America's most famous entrepreneurs at that time were based in my hometown of Boston. An Wang, the creator of the Wang computer, Ken Olsen, the founder of Digital Electronics Corporation, and Mitch Kapor, who started Lotus Software. Mark Zuckerberg was barely out of diapers. No one knew who Bill Gates was or what the Internet was. Therefore, we had not yet experienced the bursting of the Internet bubble, much less the economic crisis of 2007, 8, and 9. Many things have changed since 1988, so let's fast forward to the present when we are all struggling to climb out of the deepest economic recession of the last 80 years and to overcome a worldwide financial and economic crisis. Today, it is a strongly held belief, both in Spain and in the United States, that the road to economic recovery and sustained economic growth points in the direction of innovation. In a speech describing the so-called stimulus package, the 2009 Recovery Act, President Obama said, "The United States led the world's economies in the 20th century because we led the world in innovation. Today, the competition is keener, the challenge is tougher, and that's why innovation is more important than ever. That's the key to good new jobs in the 21st century. That's how we will ensure a high quality of life for this generation and for future generations." The $787 billion Recovery Act the President talked about, and which he signed into law just a month after taking office, included the largest investment in basic scientific research in history. It also focused on doubling U.S. capacity to generate renewable energy, and it provided funding for smart grids, broadband lines, and high-speed rail. It is the same reasoning that caused the Zapatero government to include in the Law of Sustainable Economy and the Law of Science, Technology, and Innovation provisions which are intended to facilitate and promote innovation among Spanish enterprises. No less a Spanish innovator than the bank BBVA published a book recently entitled Innovation Perspectives for the 21st Century. In the book's opening chapter, BBVA's chairman, Francisco Gonzalez, describes innovation as the most powerful tool for stimulating economic growth and improving human standards of living in the long term. He goes on to say that this has been the case throughout history. But in these modern times, when science and technology are advancing at a mind-boggling speed, the possibilities for innovation are truly infinite. Speaking again about American innovation, President Obama noted, "What we do best in America is turn ideas into invention and inventions into industries. This has been the great source of America's economic strength, the ability to take the ideas of the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries and turn them into new companies and new industries that have fueled America's prosperity. From light bulbs to cars, and from computers and software to social networks, these American inventions have not only changed our way of life, they have built America's economy into the world's largest and most successful." What accounts for the success of the United States in harnessing innovation? Have we developed some sort of superiority in science and technology? According to Tokyo University of Science professor Hiroyuki Itami, who wrote an essay for BBVA's book, innovation has two important dimensions. The first being the accumulation of knowledge that an inventor at a university